Another session on average rate of return. It's one of those investment appraisals, sometimes called ARR. Let's get straight into it. So the best way to explain ARR, NPV or payback or even sensitivity analysis is to use real numbers. So for all of those videos, I'm going to use the same numbers for continuity, and we're going to have two projects, project 1 and project 2. And each project is going to last 4 years, 1, 2, 3, 4. And each of those projects has a cost. 100 is going to be the cost of project 1 and 100 is going to be the cost of project 2. Now we'll see here, for each of those projects, there are net inflows to the amount that they expect, they forecast that they will generate in inflows in the future. So we have here net inflows for project 1 of 40 in year 1, 40 in year 2, 50 in year 3, and 10 in year 4. And the same on the other side, 60 in year 1 for project 2, 10 year 2, 10 year 3, and then a big inflow in year 4 of 80. Now let's calculate the ARR, the average rate of return based on these numbers. So when we're calculating ARR, the first thing to know is the formula. Key thing to note is the top half of the formula, average annual return. You need to get the total return and then divide it by the amount of years to get the average annual return. So we've laid out all our numbers here. We have project 1 and we have minus 100, which is the cost of the investment, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and the inflows being 40, 40, 50, and 10. And then I've done the same on the other side. So the cost of the project in year 0, so minus 100, and then the inflows, so 60, 10, 10, and then that big bonanza at the end of 80. So let's calculate firstly for project 1. So the first thing you need to calculate is the total return. So we need to always make sure that we have done a year 0 and that year 0 has that cost of the investment, and that is a minus number because you have to pay for the investment. So if we add those all up, so I'm just going to add those all up, and we're going to add all these numbers in this area up. You can do that with your calculator. It should come to 40. And then we are going to find the amount of years. So the amount of years is clearly 4. So the average annual return is going to be the total return, which is 40, divided by the amount of years, which is 4, and that's clearly going to be 10. The initial cost of the project was 100 because that was the year 0 minus 100, and we need to divide back against that. So the answer is going to be 10 divided by 100. So that's the average annual return, which is 10. The initial cost of the project, which is 100. And then we need to turn that into percentage, so times by 100, as you can see in the formula there. And that comes to 10%. So the ARR for project 1 is 10%. Now let's do the same for project 2. So we can see in project 2, we need to firstly just add up all of the inflows from year 0, being the cost of the investment, through to the final year. So add those all up, and that comes to 60. The total years is the same, so it's 4. And then we do the average annual return, which is going to equal 60 divided by 4. So that's the total return divided by the years, gets us to the average annual return, which is 15, which is the top half of the formula. And the cost of the project here was also 100. So if we just turn that into a percent, we will get 15%. 15%. So 15% is bigger than 10%. So if we are basing it on ARR, then we can see that project 2 certainly makes sense because it has a higher ARR. But if you watch the payback video, the card up there, you'll see that in fact project 1 was paid back quicker. So this is where managers need to make decisions. Which one makes sense for that particular business? Right, now let's look at the pros and cons. So in terms of the pros and cons for ARR, for average rate of return, well, the good things about ARR is that it considers the total returns of the project. We just saw that because we added up all the cash inflows from the years, and we didn't do that in payback, which is why payback and ARR can often be played off against each other because they have different virtues about them. In the case of ARR, the virtue is the fact that it considers the total returns. It looks at all those numbers, not just stops stopping when the investment has been paid back. It's clearly easy to compare other projects. We did that. We compared project 1 to project 2. We compared the 15% to the 10%. And because ARR has a profitability focus, it's looking at those total returns, it might be friendly for a shareholder, and they might be the key stakeholder within the business. The cons, the disadvantages, well, it doesn't adjust for time value of money. And we can see from the NPV video that I've done that time value of money is included there in NPV, so it doesn't discount those future cash flows. And the next thing is that it does not look at the timing of the payments as we saw in payback. So there's no real liquidity focus when it comes to ARR. Unlike payback, you know when you've paid it back, you know when you're good for you getting back that cost of the initial investment. Anyway, I hope that helps. I'll see you at the next sesh.